The complex things how to work simply explained. First one. Wi-Fi is the technology that lets devices connect to the internet without cables. Instead of using wires, it sends information through radio waves, which travel through the air between a router and nearby devices like phones, laptops, and smart TVs. Inside a typical home router is a small radio transmitter that sends data signals, and your device has a receiver that understands those signals and turns them back into the websites, videos, or messages you see. The idea grew out of research on wireless networking in the 1990s, when engineers wanted a convenient way to link computers inside homes and offices. What makes Wi-Fi useful is its freedom. You can move around a room or even a whole building while staying connected. Today, it quietly powers most of the internet access people use every day. Credit cards are small plastic cards that allow people to borrow money from a bank to pay for goods or services. When you swipe or tap a credit card at a store, the payment system quickly checks with the bank that issued the card. If the purchase is approved, the bank pays the store right away, and the cardholder later pays the bank back, usually once a month. The modern credit card system developed in the mid-20th century when companies like Diners Club and later major banks introduced cards that could be used in many places. What makes credit cards different from debit cards is that the money does not come directly from your bank account at the moment of purchase. Instead, it is borrowed for a short time. This system matters because it allows people to buy things conveniently, build financial history, and handle payments quickly around the world. Left-handedness describes people who naturally prefer using their left hand for tasks like writing, throwing, or eating. Most humans are right-handed, but about 10% of the population is left-handed. Scientists believe this difference is connected to how the brain develops before birth, particularly how the two halves of the brain specialize in certain tasks. Throughout history, left-handed people were sometimes discouraged from using their natural hand, especially in schools where writing with the right hand was considered the norm. Over time, that attitude has changed, and today, left-handedness is simply recognized as a normal variation in human biology. It matters because it reminds us that even everyday abilities like writing or throwing can develop differently from person to person. How do dreams work? Dreams are straight up weird, are the stories and images that appear in the mind during sleep. They usually happen during a stage of sleep called REM, short for rapid eye movement, when brain activity becomes surprisingly similar to being awake. During this time, the brain processes memories, emotions, and experiences from daily life, sometimes blending them together in unusual ways. Dreams can feel vivid and emotional, yet they often fade quickly after waking. People in ancient cultures believed dreams carried messages from gods or spirits, while modern science studies them as part of how the brain organizes information and emotions. Although the exact purpose of dreams is still debated, they appear to help the mind sort through experiences and maintain mental balance. Black holes are the final boss of space, are extremely dense regions in space, where gravity becomes so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. They usually form when a very large star runs out of fuel and collapses under its own gravity at the end of its life. As the star shrinks, its mass becomes concentrated into a tiny region, creating a powerful gravitational pull. Around the edge of a black hole is a boundary called the event horizon, which marks the point beyond which escape is impossible. For a long time, black holes were only theoretical predictions from Einstein's theory of relativity, but modern telescopes have found strong evidence of them, including images of their surrounding shadows. They matter because they help scientists understand gravity, the life cycle of stars, and the extreme limits of physics. How do microwaves actually cook food? Microwaves don't heat food like a fire or oven. Instead, they are kitchen appliances that heat food, using a special form of electromagnetic waves. Inside the oven, a device called a magnetron produces microwave radiation, which bounces around the metal interior and passes into the food. These waves cause water molecules inside the food to move and vibrate rapidly, generating heat. The technology was discovered by accident in the 1940s, when an engineer working with radar equipment noticed that microwaves melted a chocolate bar in his pocket. What makes microwave ovens different from traditional ovens is that they heat the food from the inside as well as the outside, often making cooking much faster. Today, they are common in homes, offices, and restaurants because they provide a quick and efficient way to warm meals. What if I told you your car is a fire machine? Engines are machines that convert fuel into motion to move a vehicle. Most cars use internal combustion engines, where fuel such as gasoline mixes with air and burns inside small chambers called cylinders. This burning creates expanding gases that push pistons up and down. The movement of these pistons turns a crankshaft, which eventually spins the wheels of the car through a system of gears and shafts. The design developed over many decades, especially during the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when automobiles first became practical. What makes the engine important is that it acts as the heart of the vehicle, turning stored chemical energy and fuel into the mechanical power needed for transportation. Refrigerators, the sneaky heat ejectors, are household appliances designed to keep food cold and slow down spoilage. They work by moving heat from inside the fridge to the outside using a cycle of evaporation and compression of a special fluid called refrigerant. A compressor squeezes the refrigerant into a hot, high-pressure gas, which then releases heat through coils on the back or bottom of the appliance. As the refrigerant cools and expands again, it absorbs heat from the air inside the fridge, lowering the temperature. The concept of refrigeration became widely used in the early 20th century, replacing ice boxes that relied on blocks of ice. Refrigerators matter because they allow food to stay fresh for much longer, making modern food storage and distribution possible.